This is Glenn Zarmanov of WeAreChange New Jersey, and we're here after Daniel Sunjata's screening of Loose Change 9/11, an American Coup. We're standing with actually one of the survivors of 9/11 tragedy here. We had many different people come through. We had firefighters watching the film. We had William Rodriguez show up, many other people who lived the incident from New York, New Jersey area. And I just wanted to get a quick statement from this gentleman right here. So your name?
George Mironis.
George Mironis, and can you briefly describe your experience on 9/11 and what you were doing?
That day,
Yeah, so were you...
I was working for a Japanese bank,
Okay.
Japanese bank. I was on the 48th floor. I was just about to put my Tupperware, my lunch away in the refrigerator, and I felt somebody pushing from behind, and a whizzing sound that I heard. And my desk was facing the window side, the east side. I looked around my desk and see the big was coming down. And to my mind came that it was an explosion of, possibly because there was a restaurant up there.
And which building was this?
Building 1.
The North Tower.
It was the first. It was the first one, yes. And then I got into my desk immediately for 3 seconds, and I stood up again, and I looked out, more debris was coming down, like looking through a blizzard or something. That's what it looked like. As I stood up, the floor shook, not one, but shook. I had it back twice, and I felt like something was around me but the floor, but it was still intact. And then everybody was kind of was left there, me and my manager, the Japanese officer. And then I heard about my manager to evacuate, and I ran quickly to a cafeteria, a couple of offices, to see for some people. Back to my desk, grab my camera, took a picture from the desk real quick, to get fire exit. So I went downstairs, and I was down for a whole hour. Again, I don't know what happened. I don't know where I was going to end up. People coming from other floors from above us. They were bringing 2 people that I saw badly burned from arms and heads. And when I finally got outside on like Vesey Street, I hear them making a movie. And I'm sitting at the base of the tower, so looking at them burning badly. That's what I had to do with the planes hit the building, which I felt upstairs. And but I lost quite a few people, about 15 friends of mine and 23 co-workers. And I crossed the little park there by Park Row, and I hear a very loud noise. It's called like you hear a monster grinding. And I turn around, I see the 2 building. From the waist to it, it cracked. I don't know how many floors. That was the noise that I heard. Then I stood there looking at it, coming down, as they call it, like pancakes. And until the dust clouds started developing.
Yeah, well, there were no pancakes. I mean, the whole building in 10 seconds came crashing down, and there's people on TV saying the building just collapsed when it's still coming down. It still hasn't even hit the ground, and they say it collapsed. When you can see the explosions, hear the explosions. My question to you, sir, is what do you say to people who deny all this evidence? I mean, people lived through the event, they witnessed the explosions, they witnessed the carnage. People running out of elevators with their hair on fire. What do you say to people who deny all the eyewitness testimony?
It wasn't just accidental.
You heard it here first, folks. The witnesses all say it wasn't accidental. They heard the explosions. They saw the explosions. Basement, lobby, sub-level, completely separate from the airplane, which is 70 stories above. So take it from this man.
At the time, it was 9 seconds for Tower 2, 11 seconds for Tower 1, which was hit first.
And what about Building 7? I mean, right across the street, the farthest away, barely any damage, perfectly intact, and yet straight symmetrical down.
I don't think the tower was affected by the 2 towers. It's too far.
Well, we saw it in the movie. The NIST report admits that the falling North Tower had nothing to do with
I saw a documentary a week after that downtown at St. Mark's Church, and they showed number 7. It was about either 2 or 3 fires in between floors, and then all of a sudden it came down.
Yep. How come the Millennium Hilton didn't collapse? How come World Financial Center number 3 and 4 didn't collapse?
Did it come down? No.
Well, sir, I'm glad you survived. You're a true hero, and thank you for coming to the screening.
Can I do one more thing? A very good friend of mine, he's a window washer there on the 1 building, and with his little squeegee tool that he has, the little brass tool, he had the elevator open, he saved 6 lives of window washing. And whatever he was wearing that day, his uniform, his squeegee, the bucket, whatever he was wearing, it's in Washington, Smithsonian Institution, his uniform. As of now, he's not too well either, even though it's 8 years later.
How are you doing? How are you doing as?
I would say the same thing. I lost hearing.
Do you have respiratory illness?
No, I didn't get the.
Good. That's good.
When the cloud developed, when I was standing by Park Road Street, it took about 2 turns, started shooting upwards and hitting my knees, cold air. Wow. That's when I started running. I kept looking behind me and I kept running until I got away from the area there.
How did you feel? Like, was it a big rush of air? Was
Yes.
it like very hard? Did it hit?
Cold air.
Did it hit you like?
That was the pressure.
Did it knock you off your feet?
No, not on my feet, no.
How far away from you were from the buildings when they collapsed?
Park Road Street, the little park there.
So a couple blocks away.
A couple blocks away.
But I did see people on the ground dead in the lobby.
Yeah, what about cars that were incinerated for blocks? That has nothing to do with the collapsing building. That clearly has to do with ground level explosion. Cars on fire. It was in the film.
One of my
Wait,
friends
you-
was in charge of the garage downstairs. He couldn't make it.
You saw bodies in the lobby?
Couple of newspapers.
You did.
And one outside between the Millennium Hotel and the
They were covered in newspapers?
New York Times.
Really?
And between the hotel and the church, with the cemetery in the back, a lady was hit by flying glass. And it was personal things like a summer hat, sunglasses, pocketbook, shoes, all over. Also covered with newspapers.
Wow.
The woman was just crossing the street.
Why are there people on the floor before the towers come down? Like, why are there bodies all over the place?
That was a lot of glass broken out.
A lot of the glass
A
broke.
lot. Because when I passed through the lobby, it was like you're walking on it was a glass.
The lobby, the lobby looked just
It was the doors.
The windows were shattered in the
Windows
lobby.
shattered.
Everything was broken.
Really?
Yep, it checks out with all the other
I felt like it was
eyewitnesses.
going under heavy rain because of the sprinklers.
How does that happen when the plane hits all the way up on top? That doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah.
That was after this happened.
That was after.
And the bathtub actually did suffer some damage. They said that if that bathtub cracks, that the Hudson River might flood the World Trade Center. Even though it was strong enough to sustain the explosions on 9/11, it was still partially damaged, and they had to fix the retaining wall. Otherwise, the whole World Trade Center site could get flooded. Well, thank you, sir.
Wow. Thank you so
Glad
much.
you
I was going to
survived.
show you some pictures that I have with me, but maybe I can another time.
Just to give me your address and stuff like that, or your email, your phone. I'll give you my stuff. You can stop recording.
Okay. God bless, sir.